You're listening to the Chartographers.
To the Chartographers. It is a music-loving podcast for music-loving people where we take every single album by a particular artist and we rank it worst to best. And guys, this is it. This is the Season 2 finale. This is something that Taryn and I have been working on for like 7 fucking months. Doing all these episodes where we pick artists that we love, we pick guests that we think can talk about them in great, awesome ways, and then we go ahead and do research. We read books, we watch documentaries, and listen to discographies over and over and over again. It's been a crazy journey. It's coming to an end, and I just want to thank you all for listening. It goes without saying, Season 2 has been our biggest season yet, because we only have one other season to compare it to, but that's okay, because guess what? We're here talking about, we like to do the seasons like TV show. We open with a big artist and close with a big artist. Season 1 opened with Beyonce. We closed with Prince, my dearly beloved. And then this season... Dearly beloved. This season, we open, of course, with Michael Jackson, one of the biggest pop stars of all time. And now we are closing with arguably the most influential. Guys, that's right. We're gonna dig into this shit right now. We're going to be talking about the one, the only, that omnisexual space wizard with a hot guitar and glitter in his veins, although upon closer inspection it might actually be cocaine. Guys, David Bowie is on the docket. He did cocaine, Bobby. That is a thing that happened. It is well documented. And at the David Bowie Is exhibit, they had his spoon.
I think he even has a couple lyrics about it, right? Where he literally says the word cocaine.
Yeah,
like,
multiple times.
Wait, while that's on the subject, that I don't get how somebody was able to verify that that's his actual Coke spoon when he can't remember making to station. But like somebody has to go up to David Bowie and be like, "Was this the Coke spoon that you used?" And we're like,
"Oh, sure." Was it found on a scene? Is there a photograph? I don't know. These are the questions that will be answered in our wonderful podcast. So guys, yes, we are going to be doing David Bowie, and we're going to be doing essentially, I think some would argue, his classic era. We're going from his debut in 1967 all the way up to 1980 before he took a nice 3-year break before he wound up doing a much more pop-oriented route in the 80s, and that too. So guys, we're going to be talking about a nice period of time in which he put out 14 albums. And listen, we're going to keep this to 2 parts because no one wants to hear the part 2 of a part 3 episode where it's like, I think you're wrong about album 16. Like, we're going to just keep it like really nice and concise. 14 albums, we're gonna rank it, and it's our season finale, Taryn. It's a big fucking deal.
Oh, I know.
Oh my god. And so you know what we had to do for it? We had to bring some of our favorite friends, past guests, friends and enemies and warriors, like all around.
Veritable spiders from Mars.
If you will. The Goon Squad, as I like to call it. So, first off, just so you know, there's me. I'm Evan Sadi. You might know me. I'm the interviews editor over at Pop Matters. I write stuff, I talk to people, and guess what? I'm also the host of this podcast. I hope that you know me as the host of this podcast, because I love this podcast dearly and profanely. And, of course, if you know... Profanely. Yeah, the sacred and the profane. And if you know that, then you also know the person sitting next to me, the Tony Visconti to my Ken Scott. That's right, guys. Because no one is David Bowie. I want that to be clear. We are not assigning roles of that anywhere else. Exactly.
Okay, great.
Taryn O'Reilly, guys. Taryn! You're
Taryn! Thank you so much for coming, Taryn.
Yeah. And you don't often get introduced by multiple people.
Yes,
yeah.
Thank you so much for that stellar welcoming.
Stellar.
We're down to 3 guests.
Man.
Yeah. God, this is terrible. But hey, guess what?
What?
We have 2 former guests here in the studio joining us for a massive mega podcast that we're doing right now.
Our favorite guests, even.
Exactly. But literally, one of the things we have here, you've heard him on the most episodes of all. We brought him back multiple times over and over. You've seen his writing over at Pop Matters, and next year you're going to hear some of his music as well. He is a great, great dear friend of ours, the one, the only John Harvey.
Hello.
How are you doing?
Doing good. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah.
Talking about David Bowie. Talking about another one of the greats.
I know. We've had you on for some really great greats, too. And I don't know if we're going to do another Beck episode because the new songs are kind of...
We'll see what happens.
I know, exactly. It'll be a curious little thing.
Well, Side note, I mean, why do that one when apparently you're sitting on, like, some Kraftwerk Aphex Twin album and I'm supposed to be excited about Up All Night?
Very
Anyway,
good
we're
question.
here to talk about
It's a
David
good
Bowie.
2017 question. And the thing is that I'm really fucking excited that you're
Yeah.
here, Mick Ronson.
Yeah, I've been back here for Prince, Flaming Lips, and Kanye, and I gotta say that I think that, David Bowie and Kanye West, I feel like Kanye is also the only other person that's really surrounded themselves with so much genius and so many brilliant collaborators as David Bowie.
Okay. Are you being earnest? Yeah.
No, I mean,
Okay,
like,
I wasn't sure that was a joke.
No, I mean,
setup,
like,
yeah.
there's two guys that, I don't think there's been anybody, Kanye's the only person since Bowie to really have as many people be like, this guy's a genius, he knows what's up, and I kind of want to get on board.
Mhm.
People that normally would be like, that's not my thing. People are like, he's magnetic, and everybody that has some sort of creative drive, like, for whatever reason, we've all accepted that David Bowie is, like, prime art.
Yeah. And I can't wait for Kanye to hit his Never Let Me Down phase, because that's going to be a whole different bag of potato chips, let me tell you. But also, I'm not sure if you heard the person so far generating the most applause out of anyone in the studio right now.
It's so appreciated.
Exactly. He is the host and co-creator of the movie podcast I'd See That. If you want to hear a good episode to listen to the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 episode, because I am on it too, with him and his dear friend Jeff George. He's also, you've seen his writing in other places, including Pop Matters. You've also, on top of that, you've probably actually heard his radio show on CHIRP Radio, one of the longest running shows they've had, Saturday 2 to 4 p.m. Central Standard Time. Most importantly, though, guys, he's been here. You've heard him on the Beatles episode. You heard him on the Decemberist episode. He's back in studio. The one, the only, Bobby Evers is here!
Hi, everyone.
Bobby!
Hey, listeners.
How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
You know what your qualifications are for this episode?
I know what they are.
I mean, want me to tell you what they are, though?
Tell me what they are.
They are, you have a cat named Ziggy.
Oh, I do, but also I DJ'd a David Bowie night that was sold out in the city of Chicago.
Yes, you
What?
did. Yeah,
Awesome.
exactly. It was like, how long was it after he passed? Like
It was like
pretty...
2 or 3 weeks. I announced it the day that it became public information because, like, I was creating the event page for the regular dance night that I have, and I messaged the manager of Crown Liquors. I was like, "Can we make it a Bowie night?" And he was like, "Oh my god, please!" And I did, and it like went viral. Like everyone saw each other going to it.
It became
and
this huge
it
thing.
became a huge thing, and
Yeah.
I had to turn people away at the door. Like there
Holy
was a
shit.
line at the door.
Holy shit.
And it was free. It was
Every
so fun.
David Bowie event that I remember that was already scheduled sold out immediately. I remember before he died, there's a local Chicago cover band called Sons of the Silent Age that were supposed to do a show at the Metro.
Yeah.
And I was going to already probably go and see that anyway.
Yeah.
That's the thing. And the moment that Bowie passed, like, it sold out in like a day.
Wow.
Jesus. All right. Well, listen, we're going to have a lot of Bowie stories to talk about because especially right now, we're talking about some of the most lasting and iconic albums and characters and images because David Bowie, this Brixton-born lad with a love of the theatrics and occasional mime work, he wound up doing something that was really kind of revolutionary at the time, too, because as much as the Beatles decided, like, we're going to be another band within the band with Sgt. Pepper's, this is an artist who changed multiple times, who almost, you could argue, no two albums really sound alike in their own particular ways. He created characters, and I say characters as in plural, as in multiple, because he changed and evolved. And while in the 80s and 90s, and especially in the 90s, you could call him a bit more of a trend chaser, here he was a trendsetter, breaking down barriers in terms of what was acceptable in terms of the mainstream public consciousness in a way you couldn't believe, and that is across 14 albums. What are they? Glad you asked, Bobby. We have the very whimsical pop debut of David Bowie in 1967. We have the much more acoustic rock and space out there Space Oddity from 1969, originally called Man of Words, Man of Music. There is his first flirtation with hard rock in the terms of Man Who Sold the World in 1970, Dress on the Cover. There was his kind of much more streamlined, straight-ahead pop album in the terms of Hunky Dory from 1971. There's, of course, the time he created his first legitimate, like, out-there character in terms of Ziggy Stardust and the rise and fall of Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars in 1972. There was the album, the little bit of coked-out album that was followed that in 1973. The Covers album, the last album recorded with the band, the Spiders from Mars from 1973, Pinups. There was the abandoned George Orwell musical that was 1974's Diamond Dogs. There was his remarkable turn towards Philadelphia soul in terms of Young Americans from 1975. There was the proggy continuation of that in terms of Station to Station in 1976. There was the start of his very experimental half pop songs, half instrumental Berlin trilogy of Flow in 1977. There was the much more muscled up continuation of that, Heroes, in 1977. There was the, let's forget the instrumental parts, Lodger in 1979. And there was his quote unquote return to form in the Rockin' Scary Monsters and Super Creeps in 1980. Whew, that is a lot of fucking albums, guys.
And that's just up to 1980.
Yeah. You know, we're going to talk about some stuff a little bit later on down the line. But more importantly, though, 14 albums. He doesn't really have, like, EPs, crazy releases. Like, if you want to get super fucking technical, Durham, the record that put out his debut in 1967, trying to capitalize on success, put out another compilation of songs he recorded before then. Most famously, The Laughing Gnome, the greatest song that he ever did in all of time. Exactly. But then, on top of that, like, everything else is pretty straightforward. The only thing that I could think is maybe questionable in terms of ranking his albums is Pinups from 1973. Because, like, that was, like, he did covers here and there, but that is an album straight top to bottom full of covers. Like, I mean, for the most part, like, a lot of people consider it part of his discography. Is there anyone disputing that, really?
I mean, it's there. I mean, it's talked.
It's there. About. That's a strong ringing endorsement.
Yeah, I mean,
but it came after, like, his biggest album.
Right.
Like, I mean...
Well, it's two biggest albums.
At the time when it was his biggest album, you know, it came, like, after, like, his big breakthrough that, I mean, like, it's a little bold move to throw that out. And they're, like, I still think it's still part of it, you know.
Part of that lineage.
And also, especially since, like, he does throw in, like, a lot of covers of people that he likes live anyway, I guess, like... It also was kind of like it's a Sinatra move, you know. It was like he was like trying to appreciate his heroes that would do the Standards album, and it's kind of like Bowie does the Standards. So I give it that.
Okay, Bobby, do you have any disagreements on it?
Nope.
Okay, great. So listen, we're going to be ranking 14 albums, and of course, there's 4 of us doing it here. Because Bowie changed style so often, I feel like us and you, the listener at home, everyone has a different entry point and a different favorite phase and era of Bowie there. So listen, I understand that when it comes to collectively, consensusly ranking 14 albums, there's going to be a lot of disagreements there. And I think the great thing about this and having former guests on here, we're going to have some disagreements. Sometimes it's going to come to simple out voting here, but we're not here trying to, like, one-up or, like, my number one's going to be number one no matter what. Like, we're here to talk about David Bowie, and that's fucking awesome. So we're just
also, it's a hard one to pick.
Yes, it is.
It's a really hard one to pick.
I know.
Like I know what I want, but even then, like I threw in like one of my top 3 before, like going here after listening to my top 1 last night. And I'm like, it's still up there. I'm like, now I don't even know anymore. I don't even fully. I'm afraid to commit to a number 1.
And that's the biggest... And same here. I think we all agree that maybe not Bobby. Bobby, you have a number 1 in mind.
I have a number 1 in mind, but I'm also flexy.
You're flexy?
Yeah.
You're flexy like Bowie?
Flexy.
All right, cool. I love it.
Yeah.
So in that case, we're going to go ahead and debate it there, and we're going to start. And listen, John Harvey, you've been on here so many times that I'm not going to throw the unenviable task at you anymore.
Actually,
Bobby...
I think I could. I kind of want to make a stance real quick.
Oh, shit. Okay,
I'm
Bobby.
curious about what this is.
Okay, in that case, number 14 for the 1967 to 1980 era, John Harvey, what will you nominate as the worst David Bowie album?
As the most frequent guest of this show, you know, I've listened to a lot of albums to prep for this, and one of these I think takes the cake as the worst album I've
Is it
ever
controversial?
I'd say the David Bowie self-titled from 1967 is the worst album I've listened to while doing the Chartographers guest appearance. I'd say it would be less embarrassing for you. I'd say it'd be less embarrassing for your parents to catch you masturbating than it would for one of your friends to find you listening to the David Bowie.
But like really enjoying it too, like, what if I joined the gang?
Because I played it on, I was like playing around there and I had people walking around the house and I kind of like turned it down a bit because I didn't want anybody to be like, what the fuck
to be like, are you enjoying this? Did you put this on purpose?
I mean, like, it's, okay, so for starters, it's like, this is his, you know, it's his first debut album. Bowie's like, you know, he's a young 18-year-old kid
He's
trying
really
to,
young.
like,
He's trying to do what's happening already.
Rock and roll is in full effect.
Yeah.
And, but the thing is, you know, he's not a full-on songwriter by any means. And some of these, probably, he's a very literate guy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's not like the English of it all is fine. But, like, you know, there's, like, some of these just don't have hooks. And the ones that do. Okay, so Sell Me a Coat is maybe one of the most ridiculous things I've ever... One, it also sounds like he's singing Sell Me a Goat.
It totally sounds like Goat.
And he's like, sell me a goat with silver bell whistles. Sell me a goat with pockets of snow.
Yeah, no, the first time I heard that song, I paused it. I walked all the way across the apartment and went to Evan and I was like, sell me a goat. Like,
I was not happy when you did that either.
Wait, can we talk about Love You Till Tuesday?
Favorite song on here.
What?
I love that song.
That song's an abomination.
No.
It's so weird. He's like, it's just me in a tree and I'm trying to romance you. It's like, what? No, David Bowie. If David Bowie jumps out of a tree, I'm gonna be terrified.
So let's put it in context there. You gotta keep in mind, especially 1967, the crooner thing is going on there. There's some other shitty-ass crooners that are going on there. In fact, he actually later had a hit with another artist covering all the Pretty Things, You Pretty Things later on. So, he was able to, bank on stuff like that with these generic-ass fucking 60s-ass bell-bottoms wearing whatever singers that go on these Top of Pops type shows. And so the thing is that he was never going to be as bold as, say, Scott Walker, who at the time was putting out, daring, bold, dark-ass, straight-ahead crooner shit. He wanted to, emulate kind of his thing, so he did this whimsical record. It's his debut. I get it. He was recording a lot of other shit through Durham as well, hence the Laughing Gnome. So, as a songwriter, though, if I was 18 years old, he's writing some kind of, complex and dark things. I'm not defending this record very hard, guys. I'm just saying that at the onset...
It's some goofy stuff.
It makes sense that this would be a first album. It reminds me of, Please Please Me.
Yeah.
It's, very bubblegum.
It's overambitious.
And I think this record also suffers from, he's still really trying to learn how to write, which is why, there's very few... This and the next record, there's just very few hooks and choruses on there.
Some songs don't even fucking rhyme, fucking Join the Gang. The worst fucking song
and
ever
I feel like Bowie at this point knew who he wanted to write but was not really capable of doing. That he's really into Bob Dylan. You can tell that he's really into Ray Davies of the Kinks. And he's he's trying to do this thing where he's trying to find the whimsy and everyday activities and what you do, but and it's the same thing you get with a Syd Barrett of Pink Floyd. It's kind of very traditional stuff, very normal activities that let's find the magic in it, but when he writes about it, there's not a whole lot of magic in what he's writing.
There is one song I will go to bat for on this album.
Oh God! Please say not Mr. Please Mr. Gravedigger.
It is Please Mr. Gravedigger.
No!
Because it's fucking creepy.
It is!
God,
It's creepy. There's no music. There's weird tin audio.
Just talking.
It's him talking. Yeah. And so in this very bright album, at the end of it, it's him talking to a fucking gravedigger.
I feel
like
and then,
it's a murdered girl.
It's an image of what is to come later.
Please,
he goes
Mr.
down this dark
Gravedigger, please don't kill me.
It's just so strange. And
coming by
just
my toys,
imagine
guys.
playing that in a bar with a bunch of drunk hipsters, and everyone is just standing there. And they're sad.
Did this happen to you?
Yes.
Was this at Bowie?
I played it!
Why would
Because it was... I wanted to start with his death and then move on. It worked so well!
So you opened with...
I didn't open with this. I opened with Black Star, and then I played Please Mr. Gravedigger. I was like, I'm gonna do it early before anyone is drunk, and then...
Then we'll do Party Shake.
And then when did he follow up with Gravedigger?
That's
I think, The Wailing Wall or something.
Man, you're going in hard.
Yeah. I was we're gonna start
hard
somber,
and sad.
and then
I think the worst one is also She's Got Medals. There's that thing about this woman joining the army, and then there's that line. It's she passed the medical exam. Just don't ask. And it's
what?
Well, what? Don't just skimp on a detail like that.
How it's done.
Yeah, exactly. Fuck you, Bowie.
Then I think at Rubber Band Man, he's doing these little goat blips. He's bleh, bleh.
What's the song where he goes pew pew?
Yeah,
no. It's
Wait.
Is it?
Is it Hungry Man or Rubber Band?
No, because We're the Hungry Man has all those fucking weird sound effects. I think it's oh no, the population's exploding. There's going to be 10,000 million in China.
Wait, guys, I think it might be There's a Happy Land.
Okay.
Where he's talking about Mr. Grown Up. Mr. Grown Up. Adults can't go there. And then he's like, pew, 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 pew. I'm pretty sure it's There's a Happy Land.
Alright, now listen. We have 14 albums to get through, so I'm not gonna go to bat for heavily hard against this one. The only one I would have put on here, my nomination, personally, would be Pinups. And the reason why is that the last album, the All Covers album that came out there in 1973, the reason is that the more time I spent with it, first off, I can't ever forgive it for the fact that he covers the Who's I Can't Explain, one of the best fucking rock songs ever, and he just decides to pussify it in the worst goddamn way possible. It's just some bland horns and all the staccato, is gone. It's just kind of this waving thing of noise. And Sorrow's a fine song, but Pinups, and Taryn and I were talking about this earlier, is the fact that unlike any other album that we've done for the Chartographers, interestingly, I wouldn't even call it necessarily a bad album. It's just this is the first one that feels truly and absolutely inessential. Because, like, here you have the band, the Spiders from Mars. You have the pretty great backing group over here. You got Mick Ronson doing some pretty awesome guitar work that, here for you. And, like, what are you doing with it? Like, the band's there. It's kind of like, it really only exists as, like, people who are, like, hardcore Spiders from Mars fanatics. Like, this is their last gasp, kinda. But, like, it feels so utterly inessential to me.
Yes, I said that, so I agree.
Yeah.
I do think that, like, there's a couple things worth checking out on here if you are a David Bowie fan. For example, Here Comes the Night.
Yeah.
I think he totally nails it.
Yep.
He absolutely nails it. And I also really like Where Have All the Good Times Gone.
I think the opening song Jocelyn is pretty decent too, but I think once you get after that, I kind of really start losing interest after Here Comes the Night. Like his cover of See Emily Play is like totally doesn't do anything to the
do a Pink Floyd song.
And there's and then the vocal effects at the end are like kind of like ruining the whole thing. I think that between the two though, I think at least there's good songs on Pinups.
Because he didn't write some of those. Or young 18-year-old David Bowie didn't write
but
them.
like I said, it's pretty much his attempt at doing his, like, the new standards. It's kind of like a Sinatra thing with, like, the kids on rock and roll. But, like, it's just, I agree, it's tough to argue which is more inessential between the two.
Yeah.
I'd say the first one maybe just because none of it really ever came back to it, whereas at least you still kind of did the Spiders on Mars sound a little bit after that.
Yeah. Bobby, do you have any other crazy other nominations you put in the last spot?
Or any thoughts on Pinups?
No, David Bowie was definitely my pick for number 14.
Okay.
Like a hard 14.
So if we all decide on 14, are we okay with putting Pinups at 13?
Yes.
All right. Well, that makes it easy because go ahead.
I think just kind of funny that just speaking about how insignificant the album is. We even at least did all this stuff to joke about for the self-titled, but then for
we just have nothing to say about
Pinups. It's just kind of in one ear out the other.
It's very unremarkable.
Exactly.
I mean, I have to say that I did not do enough research to know that was a full covers album. I recognized a couple, but like See Emily Play, I had never heard that song before, and so when I heard it, I was like, this is weird and interesting, and so I was like, what is David Bowie doing on this song? And I didn't realize it was a cover at all, because I'm an idiot.
And you know what? There's a lot of people that bought that album that probably also had no idea that these was a cover things. Like, oh, he kind of has some things going on here, and then, that's kind of my reaction to it. So that being said, though, you went ahead and nominated the worst album very easily, and we decided on Pinups. Bobby, Unenviable Task Time, number 12 on our listing, and just a nomination. We're not,
Okay.
we're just gonna talk about it, kind of see how we feel. It's gonna get contentious, guys. I'm telling you that right now. There's a lot of great David Bowie stuff.
All right, I'm not gonna go hard for this.
Okay.
But for your consideration, for number 12,
I'm taking it.
The Man Who Sold the World.
Ooh.
Because the only song I really like on that one is The Man Who Sold the World, and that's it. I wrote down a song that that was especially bad, and it was Running Gun Blues.
Yeah, I fucking hate that song.
Yeah.
For the
You
record.
hate Running Gun Blues?
I do. It is not melodically satisfying.
It was not.
It's a little. It certainly doesn't follow traditional time structures.
I'd say melodically unsatisfying kind of describes a certain amount of a lot of these songs. Like, so I first heard this album, I think I've talked about getting into good music at 18, whatever. So, like, when I first started going through Bowie, and I was like, and I was 18, and I remember seeing that album cover where it's like, but not the one where he's in the dress and he's sprawled up there.
With the photos on the ground,
I remember
playing
thinking
cards.
it was like it was spooky. Not like in a way that scared me to listen to, but I was like, there's something like the occultism of Bowie was way more flagrant than I think even people like, even though it's using people like Zeppelin, I think just how forward it was sonically in the production and in the visuals of that album that I was really intrigued, and it was kind of like thrown off at that time. And I think now, just being older, it's like it's kind of lost some of that to it.
Right.
So I'd be curious to see what somebody who's like just 18 or not really like exposed to like certain experimental music would think of that. But it's kind of like a hard rock album that doesn't really have its characters all over the place. I don't think they really knew what they wanted the record to be.
Yeah, I mean,
how did you say you described it? The more times you...
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Though, I mean, the more times... When I first listened to this record, I was like, oh, wow, this is
rocking,
really good. This was better than I was expecting a really early one to be. And then every time I listened to it, like, the songs got less and less interesting.
Yeah.
Like, there's an intriguing nature about this record, and then you just sort of realize how pretty plain it is. I mean, I think it's telling that 2 of my favorite songs on it have rock and blues in the title, declaring the genre that they are.
Yes.
Like, it's not very innovative. And on that note, I would say the only other thing that I really come back to on here is Black Country Rock.
Yeah, Black Country Rock, I actually really dig.
I really like Black Country Rock, and I really dig Savior Machine.
I like the lyrics to Savior Machine a little bit more than the music, though.
That's fair. I'm not saying it's incredible, but as far as the songs, and I'm like, yeah, I kind of dig what's going on there.
Like, I got some nice flashes of Harlan Ellison. I have the mouth I must scream when I was reading that.
But yeah, when I was reading about the recording of the album, and they're saying that a lot of David Bowie was just married at the time, and I think he was kind of a bit distracted with his marriage, and they're talking about
and his
how the
wife
songs...
was crazy because she was like, no, you should totally wear a dress. That freak people out. Like, do it. She was constantly encouraging
I think
him
some
to
of the
do
stuff
that.
she encouraged earlier was actually a good idea.
Yes,
I think it was
agree.
once he got successful, she had bad ideas. But
Yeah.
I think for getting noticed, I think she actually did have. I do think the cover that she did with that dress was actually really striking.
Yeah, and the biggest thing about it is that we're talking about sonically David Bowie, but we have to forget that visually at the time, this is before Prince. This is before a lot of things.
Right.
One of the idols that he loved so much was Little Richard. Because Little Richard was this, explosive entertainer, but he also played this nice line of androgyny, too.
Yeah.
He's clearly a man, but God, that face is just so well cut. It is just trim. It is feminine features a little bit there. And even in one of the interviews that we saw, he talked about I just kind of wanted to be a white Little Richard, which is kind of crazy, but it kind of makes a little bit of sense. So him, but he also realized too that him kind of playing around with gender a little bit was getting him a lot of attention because even though this was the free love 60s 70s, man, it was still kind of weird for a popular singer to put out records while not being sure if he's a man or a woman.
Yeah, if you put out if you try to tour with that in the American South, you might get your ass kicked. Because this is the era of the Who and Skynyrd, people who are listening to those bands are gonna beat up the people who go to Bowie concerts.
But here's the thing, though, is that I gotta be 1,000% honest. If you asked me, if I was in the hot seat and you asked me to nominate what was number 12, I would have been I just said something. As soon as you said Man Who Sold the World, I kind of felt a sense of relief because it's I haven't really thought about it in terms of all the other albums, but that feels about right. That being said, though, we have not talked about the song itself, The Man Who Sold the World.
It's a great song.
So
it's such a good song.
So leagues ahead of every single song on that album, and some of the other ones that you do later, it's so smart and groovy.
I feel if it says something if the best song on your album is the single and then the rest is filler, that is an indication of how good your album is. And I don't know, I picked this album because you can tell that Bowie is trying something different with every new album. He's reinventing himself every time, and in this one he's doing Zeppelin. And he's
Sabbath.
It's
Sabbath,
pretty
bad,
Bad Sabbath.
Yeah, Sabbath, but not as good, and so
Yeah, and it's also and the thing is that I do dig it because especially after the first 2 albums, these kind of textures, these kind of sounds are something that you didn't think he was even capable of.
But as I was saying, when they're talking about recording it, Bowie was freshly married at the time, and a lot of these songs, while he would pitch some of it, it's just kind of he would throw in a riff to them, and then Mark Ronson and Visconti would jam it out and turn it into something else, and it just seemed like everybody was just tossing out ideas and nobody really had any.
Because this is around the time that they were the Hype, which was that other band that they had before they became anything truly formal, and they played shows and audiences hated them, but Bowie's this rock star thing's pretty cool, he was digging it and he enjoyed the journey.
I think. Not that I would get that competitive about it. If you put Man Who Sold the World at 12, I'm okay with that. But I do kind of want to maybe pitch.
Yeah, please.
1969 Space Oddity.
Yeah.
I just find that it's a record that's probably, that maybe you could say has probably better, maybe more interesting songs than the one that Man Who Sold the World. But I just find that a lot of other than like 2 or 3 songs, a lot of them kind of go nowhere.
Yeah.
They suffer the same issues of the first one, where he doesn't write a lot of hooks. And then you have a song like Signet Commander, where it keeps
9 minutes.
It just keeps going.
9 minutes.
And there's not like there's any, without any actual hooks, it's just
and then at the very
9
end,
minutes.
Memory of a Free Festival, when it has that large chant-along
Yeah.
of, like, bringing down the Sun Machine so we can have a party, and, like, that feels great. You have to get through 3 minutes of noise to get there, but once you do, I enjoy that part of it. Like, it does feel like a chant-along thing. And Signet Committee does not do that whatsoever. It just kind of meanders.
The only song on here that I actually feel strongly about, the album title one, or Space Oddity itself is a good song.
Absolutely.
But Letter to Hermione is the only not album title track that I kind of enjoy.
Letter to Hermione. Sorry, I don't know why that was so hard. Letter to Hermione. Hermione. Is, as Evan said, like, the best David Bowie song that no one knows.
Yeah.
Like, it's
actually-
so striking and so, like, visceral.
Those little
I
finger
have another
yeah.
one that competes with that one song once we get to it later, but I also say I felt the same way about Big Brother off of Diamond Dogs, where it's like, I don't care about anything on this album, and then you get to the end, and I'm like, holy shit, this is maybe one of the best
the production
things.
on that almost fucking sells it for me.
But I mean,
Space Odyssey.
Yeah.
Space Odyssey, also An Occasional Dream is one that I like. But I think that was just because, like, in college someone showed that one to me out of context of the album, and so that's, like, the one that I remember.
Okay.
But I did enjoy it.
I really enjoy Janine, too.
Yeah.
But this is very much early David Bowie because he is still trying to figure out who he sounds like.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And that's
And
also
this is
so
not the
striking.
debut by any means.
It's so striking to me
Yeah.
how different all of the vocal takes are. I mean, across his entire career, he's a chameleon.
Yeah.
Like, but
But sometimes
especially,
across the same album. Yeah.
like, on Janine, he's giving this, like, almost, like, very forceful, sort of warbly, like, almost like a country performance.
it's crazy how, like, 2 years, how just much more confident he is and manly.
Yeah.
I don't want to say, well,
Like,
I don't
if you
manly,
play these
but, like,
albums back to back, I would be like, that's not the same artist. Like, legitimately,
Totally, yeah.
because this is a rock album, basically, an acoustic rock album, but, like, it is still, like, pretty straightforward. The thing about this album is that, Wayne Coyne, this must have been, like, one of the first fucking records he heard aside from Zeppelin, because, like, fucking Flaming Lips, like, copped so many moves from this motherfucker of an album,
Yeah.
The thing about David Bowie is that, at times, sometimes it could be an album, and sometimes a single song can sound like one band's entire career, or in some cases, he can create a whole subgenre with one song, too.
Yeah.
Like, he had that level of influence. He was never sold the level of Beatles or Zeppelin or anyone else like that, but, like, the people who heard it, the people who were into art, it goes back to one of his favorite bands, the Velvet Underground, which is, I believe it was, wasn't it Brian Eno or some asshole who talked about the Velvet Underground and Nico saying, almost no one bought the album, but everyone who did formed a band. Like, this is, like, kind of in that same vein. And, like, I would say Space Oddity, it's a fine record. I don't mind it if it's on, certainly. I actually kind of like Unwashed and Somewhat Slightly Dazed.
Me too.
Like, that's, like, it's kind of a little bit psychedelic there, but not, like, too much, because it's still on acoustic, but,
and
like,
I gotta give him credit. The chord structuring a lot of those songs. I mean, it's really important in the development of what you'll get for Hunky Dory coming up after that, because he has this thing where, like, he knows how to really make it effectively sprawling, and just instead of, like, resolving, it just keeps adding layers and parts, and sometimes it's too much, but, like, I feel like the stuff that he does on that is where you do kind of get, like, the Life on Mars thing, where it keeps kind of, like, stepping over itself in, like, a really epic fashion.
The thing I love about Life on Mars, by the way, aside from being a story song, is that everyone keeps forgetting about how it has the ding, 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 a clap, clap right there in the middle. Like, it's kind of like...
That's Space Oddity.
Space Oddity. No, exactly. Like, in that song.
You said Life on Mars.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Guess what? There's a lot of Space Bowie songs. When you get drunk, you get a mix
Wait,
up.
they're
He has
all
more than
great.
one space song?
What? I know, I can't believe it. There's aliens and spiders from Mars. But yeah, like that one is just like, I love how there's a little bit of pop to it too. It's kind of like, when I was thinking about it lyrically, like we all know the character of Major Tom, it's kind of out there, the song itself, Space Oddity. Like, I mean, like in a kind of bizarre way too, where like eventually it's like, do they want to know what, like they want to know the name of the shirts you wear and everything, or like the name of your
They want to
brand.
know whose shirt you wear.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm just like, okay.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of celebrity based, but then he's starting to float out into space. I don't know, it's just
But
like,
then, like,
yeah.
when you read more into it, there's, like, even more, like, more like, suggesting that there's a you know, like it's a big drug reference or like reference to heroin, like and like, you know, it's about him taking off and getting high, which then once you get into Ashes and Ashes, kind of did reinforce that idea that there is like a lot of connotations of getting high.
I don't feel like necessarily that was the full intent of Space Oddity.
No, not the full one.
I think
it was released just as the moon landing was happening, so like...
Yeah. Oh, and for the record, in the documentaries, they played some of the early demo versions that were released because he's had to record the song multiple times over and over.
Oh my gosh.
Other iterations of it are not good.
Like an early version of this, the harmony vocal was up an octave, and it just doesn't sound right. It sounds really weird.
Have you gone down the rabbit hole of like, oh fuck, what's that German guy's name who did like the German response of da 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 da?
Philip Glass?
No.
Oh.
There's a whole other rabbit hole. There was like another song that was inspired by Space Oddity from the German artist that became like a super popular like 90s dance. That is like a response to
Shiny
Space
Toy
Oddity.
Guns did a cover of it.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about.
And William Shatner.
Yeah, oh yes, thank you. Yeah. Let me tell you something. So that being said, that we've been talking about it for a little bit. Man Who Sold the World, Space Oddity, how do we all feel about those being the next two slots?
I think that's great. 12 and 11. Let's do it.
Is it weirdly agreeable?
I think that when we talk about it, I kind of am more on board with the Man Who Sold the World one, where I think there's at least more frequent, nicer moments in Space Oddity.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would definitely agree with Man Who Sold the World at 12.
Yeah.
And Space Oddity at 11?
I wouldn't necessarily do
okay,
that.
well, before we do anything else, let's go ahead, let's lock in Man Who Sold the World at number 12.
Before it gets away from us.
I know, exactly. I don't want it to get too crazy here, guys. We've been talking for 36 minutes.
The thing about Space Oddity, I don't know, for me, similar to The Man Who Sold the World, is that, like, the one song is what I like, and then the rest to me is, like, it's nice, but it's like filler, you know what I mean?
Yeah, unlike the debut. So, listen, number 14, David Bowie. Number 13, Penthouse. Number 12, The Man Who Sold the World. We were talking about Space Oddity, but Taryn, you might have an alternate nominee.
I'm going to say something kind of
really
rude.
controversial.
Kind of rude right now. Just because I know the people in this room. This is
I know.
This is the 1999 of this episode.
Mm-hmm.
And I would actually nominate Low for 11.
No.
Whoa.
They were saying it low. They all agreed with you. Low. But now, before we talk about anything, walk us through the background of that album and your thoughts on it.
I just really don't like this album.
Tell us why.
Okay, so the opening instrumental, Speed of Life.
It sounds like it's a pop song. It's about to be a pop song. And no vocals ever come in.
This is what inspired everything Damon Albarn ever did. And then, like, Breaking Glass is, like, fun. I'm with it. And then I just, like, I don't...
I don't know, man, dude. That
just, like,
Speed of Life
like,
is great, man.
Urasawa just doesn't need to happen. And, like,
God, dude, these are some bad opinions.
I just don't like... I just feel like... Because the instrumentals on Heroes are just, like, so much more fully formed to me than stuff on Low.
I like I think the instrumentals for Low are probably better than the ones for Heroes, but I like the side one of Heroes more than I like the side one of Lows.
Now, that opinion that John Harvey just expressed is something that I feel about too, because, like, Low, I feel like when I hear about Low, like, the start of his Berlin trilogy, he's getting into crazy experimental stuff, like, he's still doing pop songs, but he's doing instrumental crazy stuff as well. I'm like, oh shit, this sounds incredible. The pop song side of Low, I actually agree with Taryn to a degree. I don't think it's great. Keep in mind, Sound and Vision is great. Breaking Grass.
Is it though?
Sound and Vision is great.
I love that one. Dude, I mean, also, dude, that always, that instrumental, A New Career in a New Town, man.
Oh my god!
I kind of forgot about that one. I do really like New.
But also, let's break down the history of Low real quick.
Yeah,
so
exactly. Bowie did a Nazi
Low
salute
came
while
out
on
in
cocaine.
1977 after releasing his most coke-fueled record, Station to Station.
Mm-hmm.
Bowie decided to sober up, and when sobering up, he moved to Germany into an apartment with Iggy Pop. And
wanted to strip everything down,
and he just pretty much looked entirely inward from that. And that time, he just started inviting pretty much all of his closest collaborators in there, and we got Carlos Alomar back, Dave Davis. Clive, the bass player.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, but then he invites King Crimson guitarist Robert Fripp into there.
Different from King Missile.
Okay, as we found out earlier, no detachable
Learned
penis here.
the hard way.
Exactly. Thank
So
you.
what we got going on here is I feel like this record, it's like, so like Bowie recorded this and Heroes within the same exact time frame, and the songs were kind of divided amongst each other. And Low is this thing where it's like, it's definitely about kind of being reborn in a sense, or just kind of like finding a new you. And I think that's why it's a little bit more colorful than like Heroes going on there. And I kind of do like, some of the synth stuff I feel like is a little bit more like it brings it to life a little bit more, and there's like a certain edge and bounce and excitement and a little fear. But then you got the second half, which like some people say is like this like soundtrack, but I just think all those tracks sound fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
Like Warsaw's, I think is just fucking genius.
Yeah.
And Subterraneans.
I gotta be honest, like, my biggest thing this week is that when I had a revelation with Low when I heard it for the first, because I felt like a couple years ago, I just casually was like, I'm gonna get into Bowie, and I put this on, because, like, everyone says it's one of his best albums. It's crazy experimental, sounds like me. And I went ahead and I tried it, and it was like, it just felt like kind of a whimper of an album, though. And this week, and Research Week especially, like, once that instrumental section hits, like, I was like, man, this album came out 40 years ago? And it sounds like it could come out today. Like, some of these fucking instrumentals sound like a Thomas Newman score for a movie.
I also spent years not liking Low either before. That was one where, you have your friends that are like, dude, I mean, Low's the one, and you got it, and you tell me, I was like, yeah, sure, but what are all these other ones? And this was like, it wasn't until like even a couple of years ago that one was just totally clicking for me. I mean,
But that being said, though, like, I mean, Breaking Glass, I kind of, with that, weird thing, and also that cut-off drum effect, how every drum hit, it kind of cuts off, with a thing like, it just kind of, like, collapses, like, right as it's about to finish in a very short amount of time. But that being said, though, once the instrumental section starts, I'm there. Some of the other pop songs on here, Be My Wife, like, these are okay. Like, I dig Breaking Glass.
I think What in the World, like that, the bubble synth on there.
I hate that one so much. I hate that fucking song.
That one, I'm kind of not the biggest fan of that. But once you get past that, I'm kind of with it. I do like Be My Wife. At least more the chorus. I think the verses are okay, but I dig it once it gets to the chorus. Yeah, and
Breaking Glass, it took a while to finally get on me, but like there's that chorus of like, I really like you, but you got problems. Like, I'm like, that's like, okay, that's pretty
But
cool.
I also do, I love that riff to Speed of Life, and I love those clunky, chunky-ass synthesizers that sound like glitches going on in the back.
It almost sounds like, I mean, I know this was after, but the synth tones, if you like double timed it, sound like the like menu music for a Super Nintendo.
I feel like this album had to have inspired so much Japanese video game scores. Like the whole time it
actually,
just...
the whole album.
Yeah, but like, I legitimately, like, I do love the instrumental so much. But then I have this problem, though, where, like, if I only like some of the pop songs here, when I think about Heroes, which is basically, you're talking about two albums kind of hand in hand with each other, the pop songs on Heroes
are nuts.
Yeah, dude. Let's talk, I'm not nominating it, I figure let's just talk
about it since they're so connected.
Yeah.
So, then you have, like,
came out the same year.
So, Low is phrased as, like, the one, it's kind of like, he moved to this new town, and it's kind of about, discovering a new self. And I think, like, the Heroes is like this, it's kind of cold. It's, it's not a dark, it's not bleak. It's just, the way it's recorded, it has this certain coldness. And I feel like when you listen to this album, like, here's a guy that you can tell feels kind of empty, is anxious as hell. He's like hyper. I dig how fucking like the anxious tone and the overwhelmingness of like some of these songs. Like it's so much about a guy who's like overly stimulated.
Yeah, like even Heroes, which has like a very triumphant chord structure, and even though the lyrics are weird as hell, like the title couplet is like very.
Generic.
It was generic, but it's like it makes you feel important.
And so the guitar is pretty much just like it's a basic blues thing for the most part, dun 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 dun. But then like you throw in like the synthesizers in the back and all the guitars,
that, like, wailing,
and the fact that Fripp his guitar is like nonstop through it, like and low in the mix is.
And what I find
echoey whatever fucking thing.
What I think great. The songs I feel like with Bowie that I feel most strongly about most often is that he really knows how to like express this feeling of overwhelmingness or sensory overload.
Yeah.
And I think that with these songs, like when you start off with with Beauty and the Beast, like, which is even about like his addiction, like someone call the doctor, someone call the priest, can't say no
To the Beauty and the Beast.
And you're doing that, and it's just like
it feels overwhelming.
And then like you have like Robert Fripp comes in and just in one take lays down these guitar takes, and I feel like it's also his collaborators on that is what sets it apart from being just a generic new wave album.
Right.
You know, like you have Alomar, who's like a dance and groove master. Clive, who's like an R&B guy from the Young American section. So you got the dancey rhythm section. You got that. You got Robert Fripp, lead member of King Crimson, who's adding like this, the sophistication and riffage that's just unparalleled. And then with Bowie, who's just like the pop writer. So like it never fully. Where, like, I think Low does kind of sometimes drift too far into a new wave territory, and I'm also not the biggest new wave fan. Heroes just feels like there's all this stuff going on from it that makes it feel from being like some shitty new wave album.
Well, I feel like you left out the fact that this is where he begins collaborating with Brian Eno.
Yes.
It sounds like a Brian Eno record to me.
Yeah.
It's an interesting collaboration, but it's like not my favorite.
Well, Eno was on Low too, right?
Yeah, but he didn't produce it. They collaborated musically together, but that album is still technically credited to producer of Bowie and Visconti.
Okay.
So even though legitimately the only song that Eno gets a co-writing credit on is Warsaza, that's legitimately it. Like, he still pushed Bowie in a lot of directions. Like, well, what if you did this? Because if you look at the credits on who plays what on Low, Bowie plays xylophones, Bowie plays keys, Hootie and the Blowy Fish. But, like, he plays so much on... And, like, that was my revelation of, like, Bowie, you played all this shit? Like, the stuff that still sounds amazing even today, like, is on there. But, yeah, these are still conflicting albums, because when you get to the instrumental parts on Heroes... Don't get me wrong, I love the fuck out of Moss Garden. I love the fuck out of
Moss Garden.
Moss Garden's probably, like, my favorite
like Windham Hill,
on
it
these two
basically,
albums.
exactly. It's melodic. It's just beautiful. It's just this nice little like calm down. It feels like I'm at a fucking spa, and I mean that in the most complimentary way possible.
I do really like V2 Schneider too.
V2 Schneider, his tribute to Kraftwerk is fucking great. That horn section is great.
Yes.
Also, one of my favorites on here, dude. I kind of, for a long time, been obsessed with Blackout. I just think that, like, the way all those guitars kick in and, like, that, like, all this section changes, like, there's so much great momentum pivots on that.
I'm not as big a fan of that one, personally. But,
I also love that he just was like, fuck it, I'm going disco. And he recorded Secret Life of Arabia, and he nailed it.
Yeah.
Dude, okay, I'm glad that you guys are on board with Secret Life of Arabia, because it's just a weird song to
It's
throw in
so
at the
weird.
end. But, like, dude, it's groovy as fuck. And it also does have that disco thing where, like, that groove does make you want to do, like, the fucking hustle or whatever.
But while we're talking about... Well, first off, I mean, and again, I appreciate you throwing out there something that was controversial.
I don't expect it to be this low.
I think that
This low.
clearly, at least because there's more songs that we can get on board with that, I'd like to submit Diamond Dogs.
For number 11, instead of Space Oddity?
I don't know. I think definitely instead of Low, but I think either between Diamond Dogs and Space Oddity.
You know, I almost said that too.
Oh.
I fucking love the title track, Diamond Dogs. I think it's pretty basic, but I think that he delivers the trope that he's playing into very well there.
What's weird is that I fucking love the hook, and I'm not sure if I care about the rest of the song or not.
Right. Well, and the other thing, and I agree with that too, because Diamond Dogs, as we know, especially following pinups, he's like, you know what, the Spiders from Mars, they're fucking done. The big thing he was working on was a musical version of George Orwell's 1984. And eventually he was working on it pretty hard, apparently, until he found out that the Orwell estate was not going to give him the fucking rights to do it. So he's like, well, fuck you then. He just turned a lot of it into an album. And the actual song, 1984, it feels like the opening of a fucking disco musical.
Which is... And you know what? If he had put it first,
yes,
maybe I would enjoy it. But instead, it is ninth.
Yeah, it is
so
ninth.
It just feels
The
really
second
out of
half is like the collection of... The second half is the more interesting
Yes,
side. It's
I
all the
100%
stuff
agree with
from
that.
his abandoned... It's all the stuff from his abandoned 1984 stuff.
Are you trying to say that Rock and Roll With Me is more interesting?
I'd say it's more interesting than pretty much everything before it.
I mean, aside from
I don't think
Rebel
any of
Rebel,
the, I don't think any of the, I just... Rebel Rebel, it's iconic, it's great.
It's not interesting.
To me, it's like, it's a not good Stooges song.
It's a fucking great song.
It is a
guys.
great
song.
riff.
It's fucking gender
Rebel
bending.
Rebel is
Yeah.
a great riff.
It's a
Yeah.
great ass song.
And
I'm
it
not
is
gonna give it
not
credit.
necessarily great.
I mean, if you check out Spotify, it's one of the most streamed. It's one of his popular. I'm not gonna be like make
Yeah,
a stance where like you guys are
You don't
wrong
give a
about
fuck,
it.
Get it, man.
Just more in
Yeah.
a sense that like it just makes me want to listen to like Raw Power instead of Finish Out Diamond Dogs.
I mean, I also love the fact that this is around the era when he just starts clowning on the Rolling Stones so often. I'm just like, guys, fuck you. I can do better sometimes. Give me a shot. Yeah. And like, so Diamond Dogs is still like the Sweet Thing candidate, Sweet Thing, 9 Minute Sweet. Some people like saying, oh, that's one of his most underrated things. I'm like, again, this still feels like a musical, but this feels like the bad part of a musical.
And I just don't like musicals, and that's why like this everything except the chorus of 1984 I like.
I mean,
just
yeah.
like I just feel like it's such a weird.
1984.
It's like so over the top, like theatery that like it's weird because there's that awesome disco section. The breakdown's fucking phenomenal.
Yeah.
But I think what really stands out, the one track I think that really stands out was Big Brother on this record.
The production is so fucking
It's
cool.
so fucking epic. That line, like, someone to save us. Some great-
Like that weird vocal like keyboard thing that they're doing. Yeah. Ugh.
Bobby,
Yeah.
Diamond
please.
Dogs?
Diamond Dogs.
Diamond Dogs for number 11.
How do you feel?
How do I feel about it? I felt like it was a return to form for him.
Okay.
Because he did Ziggy Stardust and Spiders from Mars, and that was like exceptional. And then Aladdin Sane was sort of like the coked up version of that. And then Pinups. And then Diamond Dogs was a return to like writing good stuff and like being creative again. So I feel like it's sort of up there with like Ziggy Stardust, whereas Aladdin Sane is like maybe lower.
Really?
Yeah.
I think Aladdin Sane is better than Ziggy Stardust.
Oh,
We're just dropping bombs.
I don't expect that one to really
That is
get much
the hottest.
traction.
I think that we should lock in Space Oddity number 11.
I'm
because
fine
we're
with that.
50 minutes. We're 50 minutes into the podcast at this point.
Yeah.
I want to get to at least number 7 if we can do
I'm
that.
good with locking in Space Out.
I agree. I think especially the more we talked it out, I think
Because as we were talking about Low, I was like, oh shit, there's some stuff on here I kind of forgot about.
Yeah, and again, you're not going to necessarily put it at number 1 there. So stick to your guns on some of those aspects. But like at the same time, we have to like Low and Heroes are kind of sides of the same coin, but different in their own way. Personally, though, if I were to throw another thing out here, and I'm taking a hard look at all of these things, if you said Diamond Dogs, I could toss it out there. I got to be honest, I'm torn between 2 albums, and one of them I'm going to put out there is Lodger.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing, like I feel like after like Low and Heroes with this whole A-side, B-side, pop song instrumental like thing on there, as weird as that was, it was still interesting there. Lodger's kind of like, okay, let's just do weird pop songs then.
Lodger's just like, ooh, we really liked Talking Heads 77.
Yeah, and that was the thing, like listening to it because like, especially by listening today, and it always happens the day we record the episode, I was listening through and I'm like, oh, there's the Stones references that like I was kind of like hearing, but not like it was clicking into place. I was hearing like, oh, Blur fucking ripped off fucking, Be My Wife later on. And then when I heard this album, I'm like, oh my god, this Talking Heads, it's David Byrne. DJ is basically a Talking Heads song outright.
As is Fantastic Voyage, that chorus.
Assassin.
As is African Night Flight and
Oh,
Assassin
fucking-
and fucking...
Assassin.
even got Talking Heads contributed Adrian Belew to go and play the guitar riff, so it's extra Talking Heads.
It's
sounding
super
like.
Talking Heads, right.
This song, Boys Keep Swinging, was also kind of partially written about Adrian Belew.
Oh.
I feel like
You can wear a uniform.
I really like Boys... Oh, sorry, Bobby, you go first.
I was gonna say, Yasasin reminds me of Zappa.
I do really like. I really like Yasis.
I do too.
Okay, so just briefly, because like I was kind of like going through last night, we were like going into like our last like getting everything together, feeling everything, and I just kind of looked up a couple like what's the most underrated, David Bowie at? What's the most? And I come up with a lot of lists of the most underrated David Bowie songs, and one list who I will never forgive, and I want it burned from the internet, I'm telling you right now, whatever fucking site it was, said the most underrated David Bowie song was African Night Flight. And I don't think there's a song that I've hated as actively as that since fucking Join the Gang.
That kept taking me out of it.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like, oh my god.
It feels
That's-
racist.
Yeah. It does though! I don't know why. like it's just like it feels weirdly appropriated.
Yeah.
Like, it's just
Right, because it's like the bad side of like, again, not to harp on the Talking Heads thing too much, but like
It's
when
there,
they told stories about like characters living in the Middle East, you're like, can't you write this? Should you write this story?
Is this your story
But it
to
was
tell?
at least like
from a
it
place
felt-
of earnestness.
yeah, and it felt like reverent, it felt respectful, whereas like I don't know that African Night Flight feels respectful.
It feels British touring Africa.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
it feels
British
very
tourism.
colonialistic.
It is
Yeah.
totally
Yeah.
But there's some songs on here. I will say this. There's this album. I like Lodger. I think it's just a lot of songs that I think are good, but not any that are like amazing
Yeah.
or like all timers. Like I dig Yassison, Red Sails DJ, Look Back and Your Boys Keep on Swinging. But
You
like
like Red Sails?
I like Red Sails.
Red Sails
Wait,
is-
you like?
I like Red
Yeah.
Sails. It's a nice little
I
like,
don't think
B-52Z kind of guitar line that's going on.
I'm not gonna
there.
be like, hey, that's you don't understand the greatness of that. That's how I feel about most of this album. The same way is that I think I like most of it, but I don't love any of it.
Yeah, we don't feel like great feelings towards it. I'd be very surprised if anyone's like, oh yeah, Lodger's my favorite Bowie album. I'd be like,
I think Yes Assassin is like the most my favorite song on it.
I think we've said it like 8 different ways, by the way, and I love that.
Yes, I see.
No.
That's that scene.
They sing it in the song.
Yeah.
I mean,
so
I
guess-
would say my favorite song on here is actually "Look Back in Anger," partially just because I'm a sucker for good vocal takes, and he has so many terrible vocal takes that like this one stood out for me. Like
Yeah.
he sounds really great, and he's very emotive. Which I appreciate, but I also sometimes kind of feel like Boys Keep Swinging is like a cheap attempt to recreate Heroes. Like, as far as like production choices.
I mean, sonically, musically, I think it's trying to do something a little bit more gender bendy type, in the vein of like Rebel Rebel or what have you. But like, I'm
Yeah,
not saying sonically, but like, thematically, it is.
Okay,
Yeah.
thematically, no,
Yeah.
I'm talking sonically. I'm talking
I don't know.
about
I guess I don't pick up that much.
the
on
guitar
Heroes
drone
stuff.
in
Yeah.
the background.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I know. I guess it depends. Are we putting Lodger against Diamond Dogs, or is somebody else putting something on there?
Who do we want as number 10? Like, are we
Bobby,
saying,
if you had your druthers, what would you put at number 10?
what would I put at number 10? Goodness. There are a number of them. I mean, I don't know. I feel like the Berlin trilogy maybe goes higher on the list. Like, I don't think that they're near the number 10
guys,
spot.
we haven't even talked about Scary Monsters, though.
Yeah.
If we're talking about bad David Bowie
Yeah.
So now here's the thing. I remember when we did our initial run through of all the albums or whatever. I remember everyone said the same thing. Like after the Berlin trilogy, Scary Monsters has returned to form, and there's a couple songs in here. I'm like, fuck it feels like it.
I think the middle section is incredibly strong,
Yes.
but
Yes.
it's a really piss poor opener and closers.
Yes.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because it's one of the things.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I don't like the vocal effects on Scary Monsters. The you like that thing, but Ashes to Ashes. First off, let's talk about Ashes.
There was a song I never vibed with until we did this one. I'm
Yeah.
like, dude, this is a great
Yeah.
fucking.
They say Major
I-
Tom's a junkie, strung out in heaven.
My interaction with Ashes to Ashes was when I went to the David Bowie exhibit, they had the music video section, and I was just watching the Ashes to Ashes video over and over again because I was like, oh, this is a story arc. This
what's
is a
what's this
sequel.
fucking clown doing on the beach?
This is crazy. And so then when he died, I just listened to this over and over again, and I just kept playing it on my radio show. I was like, oh my god.
There was just something about it.
Yeah, I was just drawn to it because I felt like in a way he was Major Tom, and this is him being strung out.
But honestly, it's that line "strung out in heaven," which is just the Brian Jonestown Massacre even named an album after that because that's just a great visual right there. But there's no reason to bring back Major Tom, but somehow it works in its own way. I don't even understand the internal logic of is he out? He went out to space and now he's just out there in this fucking weird Odyssey thing.
It almost sounds like he is saying that they have named a street drug Major, a drug that has a street name of Major Tom. You got to get Major Tom or something like that. I don't know.
I felt like it's high
That
on
was
his
a later read.
it's high on his own success.
Yeah.
Now that he's sober and he doesn't have drugs, I still feel like it was it's also another part of the sober side of Bowie that I feel like maybe just his whole business and way of life was its own drug.
Yeah.
So it's hard though. I love that song so much, but it's on an album that I am fine putting at number 10.
It's no
But
game
also-
2. Putting kids putting camel shit on the
Let's-
walls.
But
Cool.
Can we talk about how fucking good Teenage Wildlife is?
Surprisingly,
though?
yeah.
Like, holy shit, that thing is anthemic as hell.
Like, I almost feel like that is more of an immediate antecedent of Heroes than anything else.
Well, that's the difference between what we're talking about between Scary Monsters and Lodger, is that, you know, I think Lodger is overall more consistent. I like it as a piece more, but, like, you know, Scary Monsters does have Ashes, Fashion, Teenage Wildlife, like some pretty iconic, amazing songs.
Yeah. And that being said, let's also talk about fashion. Fashion!
Yeah.
Turn to the left! Fashion! You know, turn to the right. Like, it's just like
Almost Minnesota.
Minnesota sound, Princey,
yeah,
kind of,
a little
sort of.
bit, right?
Yeah.
Like,
we are the goons
that were coming for you.
like
Yeah.
as far as like the
Beep,
the
beep.
like the
Beep, beep,
production of the
motherfuckers.
guitars
Yeah.
on there are very like it's very like stark.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, it's stark in a fascinating way. This whole album, though, has, like, I would agree, though, sonically, like, texturally, kind of has the same sound all the way throughout, because some of the other albums, like, even in Heroes, it's kind of all the same sound for the most part, but, like, they find interesting ways to go about and play it and use negative space. Scary Monsters is kind of the same sonics all the way through, which is when you hit Ashes to Ashes and Fashion and Teenage Wildlife, what a great run that is! It's just then... You know, it's no game number 2, and
You
know,
keep joking about it's no game number 2, but compared to everything else on here, I
yeah.
actually like that.
Yeah.
Like that especially because
lyrically, I like that song a lot. I think yeah.
I really like when he brings in all those multi-tracked vocals and in the actual chorus of it, 'cause it's no game. Oh. Like,
Yeah.
I really enjoy that choral section.
Yeah.
Not that the song as a whole isn't brilliant, but
It
like, I don't
it has a
even-
little bit more passion than Kingdom Come.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would
Or
Kingdom Come. If you played that for me
anything
now,
else.
I'd been like, that's a David Bowie song? Like, I'd have to get context clues to get it. So, yeah. Bobby, do you have anything more to say?
I almost wish we'd put this at number 11. I just kind of forgot it existed.
I definitely like Space Up. Well,
I don't know. I'd say that the standout tracks for Scary Monsters, like, I still kind of puts it ahead for me. Well, I think, like, maybe Space Odyssey is more listenable. I just
As
think
an album.
at least you know, Scary Monsters produce something culturally significant.
You're saying
That's fair.
Space Oddities and culturally
Guys,
significant.
I mean, even in the video, even the doc, they even kind of said that after it released, you know, it wasn't until way later in his career it became more iconic. Like, for the first couple of years, they said that, like, after the moon landing happened, it became kind of a novelty hit. Until,
Yeah,
like,
and
way
he wanted to
later.
avoid that.
and that's
right.
why, like,
Dear Mr. President, what was it?
Yeah.
Dear Mr. Kennedy? Yeah.
Yeah, dear Mr. President, although I am hesitant. Walk hard, guys.
Yeah. Wait,
So that being
I'm
said...
talking about
oh,
Llewyn
which one?
Davis.
What?
I'm talking about Llewyn Davis, like...
Oh, Llewellyn David. Oh, yeah! That's right,
I would
yeah.
still put
Hey, Mr.
Diamond
President.
Dogs Scary Monsters, unless somebody feels strong enough about Diamond Dogs that it should go above Scary Monsters.
Me...
yeah, I honestly would say Diamond Dogs is a more pleasant listening experience, but
Yes.
I'm not gonna fight very hard.
Yeah,
against
I
it.
would say here's me. I would say I think that honestly, you know, not counting your feelings towards Low necessarily, Diamond Dogs, Lodger, and Scary Monsters, I feel like, are what we're talking about for these next three spots. Are we kind of in agreement on that for the most part, Bobby? Questionably, maybe.
There's things that I would put lower than that, but I don't want to, like... I don't care who's wrong or right, I just don't really want to fight no more.
Wow, Bobby, you fucking lay down hippie. Oh my god. Just out of curiosity, what would you nominate?
Probably fucking... I don't know, man. Young Americans? I don't know.
Yeah, that's not happening.
I don't know. As long as we're talking, I would say Scary Monsters number 10, 9 could be Diamond Dogs.
I could go with that.
Yeah, I think
Do you want to put... Yeah, I mean, I'm okay with that, but do you want to do Lodger before Diamond Dogs, or do you want to do before or after?
I would put Diamond Dogs lower than Lodger.
Lower than Lodger?
That's fair.
Yeah,
Okay.
after finishing this discussion, I would definitely put Diamond Dogs lower than any of the Berlin trilogy.
Okay, well, in that case, I don't know if you know this, guys. Even though that is 7 albums and
Wait,
7
are we
slots,
locking in Lodger at 8?
Are
Did we
we
agree on that?
I mean, I'm okay with it.
I'm fine.
I think it worked.
I mean, look, Bobby, say that one more time for me.
I'm fine.
I want that as a sound clip for future
Wait,
episodes.
I want to know, what would you put lower than Lodger?
What would I put?
Young
I mean,
Americans?
like, I'd have to look... yeah, something like Young Americans or Aladdin Sane that just didn't thrill me as much. I mean, like, I don't know.
Bobby, I love you.
I just don't. I don't know. I don't feel super strongly either way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
Let's
exactly. You know, I'll
Yeah.
take that. That is the spirit of compromise right
Yeah.
there. Because let me tell you something, guys. Even though we've locked in 7 for this part 1, the next 7, it's gonna get interesting. Is all I
gonna
can
get real.
say in here. It's gonna get really real. Or the next 8.
4 will enter,
technically.
1
yeah.
will leave.
Yeah. Anyway, but so for the record, guys, what we have here, we have Lodger. I'm sorry, let me go ahead and go to number 14, we have David Bowie. Number 13, we have Pinups. Number 12, we have The Man Who Sold the World. Number 11, Space Oddity. Number 10, Scary Monsters and Super Creeps. Number 9, Diamond Dogs. And number 8, Lodger. That's what we got. That's what we have.
That's where we're at.
All right, and listen, guys, that is a great, fantastic way that we've been doing this so far. We still have a lot more to go, so in the meantime, keep listening to part 2, because we're not going to mention these albums in part 2. But let me also just say, Bobby and John Harvey, thank you so much for being here for a part of
Thanks for having
this.
us.
Yeah, I hope you stick around for the next one. Bobby's giving me a look of he doesn't
I
know.
got
Yeah.
some
I got some Major Tom to my dealer's calling. It's great. And the beginning is though. Thank you as always, of course, too. This is great. We got a couple more listening. Do us a favor. If you like this, please like our Facebook, rate us on iTunes, and actually do it. I would really appreciate it. It's the season finale. We are owed a present, I feel. So if you could go ahead and please, it's a big deal. It's a celebration. Keep doing this. In the meantime, though, keep on listening because you know that we'll be. Have a good one, guys. Goodbye.
Bye.